Today we're going to look at some examples on worksheet practice 12.2n, factoring x squared plus bx plus c. I'm going to do the odd problems for you so that you have a hopefully good example of what you're going to do on the even problems. When we're factoring these trinomials, have three terms, 1, 2, 3 terms, then the easiest way is for us to make a box, a 2 by 2 box, divide our box into 4 parts, and every time we do this, our first term, in this example, x squared, goes in the top left-hand corner of the box, and positive 6, our constant term, goes in the bottom right-hand corner of our box. We multiply those two terms together, and that's what we're going to write factors for. So the only way to get 6x to the second is 1x times 6x, 2x times 3x. And then we go back and we look at our problem, our original problem, and we look at the sign beside the constant. If it's an addition sign, that tells me that I need to add my factors that I just wrote in my chart. And if it's a subtraction sign, then it would tell me I would need to subtract the factors that I just wrote in my chart. So as you can see, I added my factors right here and put them in that little purple box. And then I go back to my problem and I see which ones did I need. Which one is my problem telling me I need? My problem says that I need positive 7x. So to get positive 7x, I have to use 1x and 6x. And so that's what goes in my other squares in my box. And the 1x and the 6x can flip-flop spots. They don't have to be in the spot that we have there. You could have put the 6x where I have the 1x and vice versa. After we complete the box, then we go from left to right in each of the rows and we find the greatest common factor. And we put the answer on the left-hand side. So the greatest common factor of x squared and 1x is x. The greatest common factor of 6x and 6 on the second row is 6. Each of those two touch a positive box. In other words, the signs here and here are positive. So my x plus 6 are also positive. So part of my answer, one of my binomials, is x plus 6. After I find the common factor for the rows and get these answers out here on the left, then I'm going to do the same process for the columns. So I'm going to do the greatest common factor going up the columns and write my answer on top of my box. So x squared and 6x have a common factor of x. 1x and 6 don't have a common factor, so whenever we don't have a common factor, we use the number 1. Again, these top two boxes are both positive, so both of my factors that I took out are going to be positive. And there's my other binomial factor of my original problem, x squared plus 7x plus 6. Since this is a multiple choice problem, then I look at my answer choices, and of course the correct answer is D as in dog, x plus 6 times x plus 1. All right, moving more onward. Number 3 also is a trinomial, so we're going to factor it into our box. On the first problem, I neglected to remind you that if we have a common factor in our original 3 terms, in other words, our 3x squared, our negative 3r squared, negative 6r, and negative 105, then we have to take that common factor out first. In this case, all 3 terms can be divided by 3. They all have a common factor of 3. So I'm going to take out that 3, and by take out I mean I'm going to divide. So 3r to the second divided by 3 is r to the second. Negative 6r divided by 3 is negative 2r. And negative 105 divided by 3 is negative 35. Now once I do that, obviously I'm going to eliminate a couple of my choices up here. It can't be B, it can't be C. My 3 is going to come down here as part of my final answer, and it's going to be out in front of my 2 binomial. answers that I'm going to have my two binomial factors. Okay, so now I'm going to repeat the directions that we went through on number 1. R squared is going to go in the top right-hand corner of my box. Negative 35 is going in the bottom right-hand corner of my box. I'm going to multiply those two numbers together, and that's what I'm looking for factors of. At this point, we really don't have to worry about the negative part. We can just write factors. We'll take care of the negative part in a minute. So short list of factors for 35r to the second. We're looking for, just like previously in our other example, we're looking at the sign of the constant term to tell us whether we add or subtract. So that tells me that we're going to subtract those factors. Now, if we subtract 1 and 35, one way we subtract, we get negative 34r, and the other way we subtract, we get positive 34r. With the 5r and the 7r, one way we get negative 2r, the other way we get positive 2r. So according to my problem, I need, whoops, didn't mean to erase that. I need negative 2r right here. So the negative 2r is going to be found by taking negative 7r and positive 5r. Had I done positive 7 and negative 5, that wouldn't have been my negative 2 down here that I've got circled with highlighter. So after we get our box filled in, again, we do our greatest common factor. Let me get a different color. So from left to right, r squared and negative 7r have an r in common. 5r and negative 35 have a 5 in common. They're both positive because they both touch these positive boxes right here. When I go vertical and do the two columns, r to the second and 5r have an r in common. Negative 7r and negative 35 have a 7 in common, and that 7 is going to be negative because this box right here had a negative. So then now it's easy to see which one of my two choices, because I'd eliminated 2 a minute ago, are correct, and that this time it's going to be A. A is correct. Okay, one more, just in case you didn't like those two. Again, we're looking for greatest common factors if we have one. Number 5 has no greatest common factor. Number 7 does have a common factor. So let's do 7 since it looks a little tougher. 7 has a greatest common factor of 4. So I'm going to take all those numbers and divide by 4. And then I'm going to come down here where I write my answer and put my 4 out in front. So when I divide 4b to the second by 4, I get b to the second. Negative 40b divided by 4 is negative 10b, and 36 divided by 4 is 9. I'll put those in my box. So b to the second up here, positive 9 down here. Looking for the factors of 9b to the second. So there's only 2 sets of factors that do that. And the ones that add to be negative 10 are 1 and 9. And because it's negative 10, it has to be negative 1b and negative 9b. Then do my greatest common factor as before. So I have common factor of b here, 9 here. The b needs to be positive because this box is positive. The 9 needs to be negative because this box is negative. So b minus 9. And then going this way, we're going to have common factors of b and minus 1. Hope that makes sense. Have a great day.